Welcome to Women's Million Dollar Conversations with Alice Tang, where we share stories from successful businesswomen who have saved, earned, or sold over $1 million and discuss how they built their success and insights to help you achieve your goals. Now, let's join the conversation.
Everyone, welcome to Women's Million Dollar Conversation. Today, we are very excited to have Emma Dye, founder and CEO of Chris Salad, with us. She is a rock star. We all know that in the Northwest, so I want the rest of the world to know about it. Emma, welcome. Would you tell us a little bit about your company, Chris Salads, and what you do and your vision for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, Alice, for this opportunity and for providing this format for women to learn about other women and be inspired to reach these financial milestones and goals. I think it's wonderful that you do this. So I am the founder and chief salad officer of Chris Salads Northwest. And I launched in 2005, and we now have 3 locations, and we're also in the Moda Center for the Trailblazer season, which is our local basketball team here in Oregon. So we're on the club level there, and it's been quite the journey and been very exciting. And one of our philosophies or sayings, if you will, is we work hard, but we also have fun. So I'm really excited to be here with you today, Alice, and talk about that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So our guests have either earned $1 million, made $1 million, or saved $1 million. So yeah. I'm going to take you back, Emma, to the time when you first hit your $1 million. Tell us, how did you get there, and how did it make you feel?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was always my desire to have well over $1 million in revenue. And I have a pretty lofty goal to get to 10 million in revenue. Currently, we're at about 2.2 million in revenue. And prior to reaching the $1 million revenue mark, it took a few years to get there. I had met somebody who was in an organization called the Entrepreneurial Organization, EO. I actually had a couple of friends that were in it, and I knew that you had to be over $1 million in revenue to join that organization because my friends were in it. But I met somebody randomly at the restaurant who came in and loved us. And this gentleman was talking to me about my business as I was working in the restaurant, and he mentioned EO, and I said, my revenue's not there yet. And he said, well, there's this Accelerator program. So for businesses that are 250,000 to $1 million, and you have to be the founder, you can't be fired. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was this kind of stepping stone. So I joined the Accelerator program, and I was in EOA, Entrepreneurial Organization Accelerator program, for about 2 years. And I was just thrilled when I pulled that rolling 12 P&L and saw that we were on track to do 1.2 million that year. And I was like, yay, I get to graduate and join EO. So that was a really good feeling. And it was a neat milestone to have with EO, knowing that I got this kind of almost like an award, graduation into the next level of that organization because I hit $1 million. And that was back in early 2020.
Very good. It speaks really loudly of setting goals for anyone or even an entrepreneur we're talking about. Set a goal, believe in your goal, execute towards the goal, and do not deviate.
Absolutely. Don't give up. Don't take no for an answer. Yeah, just do what you got to do ethically, obviously. But yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful. The next question I would like to ask is, on your way to success, to that $1 million or even beyond now, right? What are some of the bias that you're facing?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a couple different things that I've experienced in my life, and they might not be what you're normally used to hearing. Obviously, being a woman is its own thing. But outside of that, I actually didn't get my college degree until I was 32. So I had taken some classes when I was younger, had some credits, but wound up, joining the work world and started making really good money. And so I did not get that degree. And I had a couple of corporate jobs where a degree everybody thought it was mandatory, but I would be the only person that got hired that didn't have that 4-year degree or beyond. And so I really, in conversations with coworkers and upper management in those corporate roles, there was some bias. Again, like this shock and who are you that you don't have a college degree? So I did go back and get it in my early 30s, but I remember that being a source of angst for me when people would ask me where I went to college. Where did they just assumed that I had a degree? So they would ask these questions. So that was one. And then another bias that I've experienced is my husband and I made the conscious decision not to have children. And now I'm almost 50, so I don't get this question anymore. But when I was younger, definitely. I mean, actually, we still have conversations with folks once in a while where they're shocked that we decided not to have children. So there was a little bit of bias about that and just some interesting conversations, both personally and in work. When you're working, you're talking about this stuff too. And then the last one is, I think, funny, but I'm also 5 foot tall, and my husband's also a short too. He's maybe 5'6". So, being a short person in this world, there's that song, short people get no love. So that's interesting too. So I think it's sometimes hard for people maybe to take you seriously when you're short and blonde and bubbly and all of this good stuff.
You definitely look tall in your interview by the television.
I
went through your website and just make sure that I know who I'm interviewing with. And plus, I really is a fan of eating healthy.
Oh, I love it.
You look taller than 5, so I can relate to that because I always tell people I'm 5, but actually I'm 4'11", but I just round this up.
I love it. Well, I'm sure you probably wear at least a little bit of platform heel there to get you.
I will definitely.
I wear heels, except for when I'm at the restaurant, I can't wear heels. So.
All right. What is your number one piece of advice for people who said, Emma, you took the Accelerator program, taking yourself from 250,000 to past that million in 2 years? That's crazy good. What's the first number one piece of advice you would give to a woman who aspire to be you, who can relate to your experience?
Yeah, I feel like this is something that's said a lot. So I'll say 2 things because one is, I think, more common. Never take no for an answer. Don't give up whether you're female or male or non-binary. Just stay focused on your goals and don't listen to people. Like when I opened the restaurant, I had some friends and family who otherwise are normally very supportive. But they were like, are you crazy? Restaurants have this failure rate. I had a couple of people try to talk me out of it. And they weren't necessarily wrong. It is an extremely tough industry. A small business in of itself is very difficult, but the restaurant industry is its own thing, right? Like the profit margins are extremely small. But that aside, it was what I wanted to do. And I felt like I could do it and that I could do it better than maybe some other people. That being said, the advice I would give is I wish I would have sought out more mentors sooner. So, I opened in 2015. I didn't join Accelerator until 2018. And it was a whole new world for me because I met so many other business owners and people who had already exceeded that $1 million mark and were going through the struggles that I was going through, not just restaurant, every business. Have a lot of personnel issues, HR, supply chain, everything. It's not just the restaurant business. And having those folks as mentors really, really helped me a lot. So my number one piece of advice is don't be afraid to reach out to people in the community that are either in your industry or that you admire. A lot of people, even if you're not in EO and have that direct connection, will have coffee with you if you ask nicely and you show up and maybe offer to buy them coffee or donate something to one of their favorite charities. You don't know what you don't know until you start talking to people. And those experience shares were what has helped me get to where I am today, or other people. And I just wish I would have done it sooner.
Beautifully said. Once again, I have to applaud to that. For me, when I was fearful of asking somebody's time, especially somebody's super big, meaning the highest produced person in my industry, whatever that is, whatever that means in other people's industry. I was fearful, but actually when I approached them, they are just another very nice, very kind human being. They wanted to help. So I didn't ask for their first child or firstborn grandchild. I asked for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
I asked for 15 minutes and they always can give. But if you just give them a very difficult time, like 2 hours, sorry, nobody has 2 hours. They do have 15 minutes, they do have 30 minutes. So very good advice. Yeah, somebody bigger than you need to show you
Yeah.
blind spot, right? What am I not seeing?
Yeah, it's also, they always say this about running or working out or playing a sport too. It's play with people who are better than you. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to do those things because it makes you better. And then likewise, being in the position I'm in now, I will talk to people if they reach out. I'm also here now to help folks the way people have helped me. I think it's just great in both directions, right? The best way to learn is to teach, and having conversations with folks who are up and coming. I learn stuff all the time. I learn about new technologies. I learn about, things change. So what I did back in 2015 isn't necessarily what people are doing in 2023.
And things so change quickly.
Yeah.
So that get to our next question is describe the process that you would take if you have to make a big decision. And entrepreneur business owners, we always have to make big decision. So especially when the stakes are very high, what do you do?
Yeah, so it's such a balancing act, Alice, right? Like you don't want to take forever and overanalyze and weigh yourself down and talk to 20 different people. At least I don't. Like that's not how I make a decision, but I do want to do some of that, right? Like you have to do some analysis and take in the information that's important and vital, and then seek possibly a sounding board from a couple of people that I respect and I admire and I know make good decisions and get their input. But the final decision is mine, and I have to go with what I think is best and what my gut is telling me along with my logic. But I do like to talk to at least one, if not three other people, sounding boards. But I'm a big believer in sometimes good is good enough and you just got to move forward, and you might make a mistake. It might not be the best decision long term. Everybody has hindsight, but we don't have a crystal ball. So we have to make these decisions based on the information that we have and the allotment of time that we have. So I do the best that I can with the information that I have and the people resources that I have.
I love how you say everybody has hindsight, meaning looking back, but we don't have a crystal ball. And also, you have spoken loudly about taking action and correcting the course. It's important to take action rather than being paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. So sometimes decision made too late, if you would agree, Emma.
Yeah.
Decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no decision is not moving forward. So
it's also a decision too, but it's not moving
decision
forward.
to not make a decision. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. I'm sure there are moments that life is too tough or business is too tough. Everything could happen on you. And there is moments maybe you want to quit. And what kept you going?
Oh my gosh, yes, I've had many sleepless nights and some recently. So there's a lot going on. And what keeps me going, there are a few things. One is the people that work for me. I have right now about 40 employees. And in the summer, we have 50. And there are folks that rely on me for their income to make their rent. And that weighs on me. That's very important to me that I've created these jobs for folks. I'm also the first job for a lot of high schoolers. We have a lot of young folks that work for us, up to our experienced kitchen people and my COO. They all rely on Crisp and the revenue that we provide to pay their salaries and wages and benefits. So that is something that is very motivating to me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to shut the doors and move to Mexico, but I can't do that. I could never do that to the folks that rely on me. So that is something that's very motivating to me. And then whether this is right or wrong, I've grappled with this. I have a lot of pride and I want to be successful. I want to succeed. And it would be really hard for me if the restaurants didn't survive, if they didn't do what I am trying to get them to do. And sometimes I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm like, I do everything I can. I'm trying to logically do the best steps. And then I'm also doing the manifestation and visualizing what we're going to do. But it's really difficult. And there's also factors outside of my control, right? I can't control COVID. I can't control supply chain. Really, I can just do everything I can to the best of my ability with what's happening. So those are the things that motivate me. My team, the people in my life that rely on me, and my pride.
Wow. I like how you answer it because it's about the community around you. Those people have been working for you and you see their life is counting on you. They are talented people. I'm sure they can find jobs.
Yeah.
It's not as much fun as at Chris.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. No one's going to be homeless if they have to leave Chris. It's not easy or fun sometimes to go and find another employer. And I do create a really safe, respectful environment for our team members that there's not every restaurant or every business does that.
Yes, I can see that they're having fun, at least on the television.
Yeah. We try. It's hard work, but we try to have fun while we're working.
Yes, because we spend a lot more time with the people we work with than our family. Think about that. So if you're not having fun, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we definitely try to keep that culture alive at Chris.
Awesome. And then what is the one thing that you would do differently, knowing what you know now? Nothing is a good answer.
Yeah, no, actually, again, I feel like I'm always like, I have two answers because one is related to my business now, and the other would be advice I would give, especially to women, because I think women don't tend to do this as much as men, even in 2023. So personally, prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I wish I would have bought a home when I was single and making good money. I think that's a really good path to wealth, is owning property. And it's something I didn't do until I met my husband. I was too busy working and having fun and traveling and doing other things. And I didn't take the time to invest my income that I was making into a home, which I could have and should have done in hindsight. That would have been a great way to build wealth faster. And then the second advice I would give as an entrepreneur, as to anyone who's starting a business, is to not ignore the financials. So I came from a sales background. And when I started Crisp, it was just me. My husband does real estate full time. And I just thought I just have to focus on making revenue, right? I just have to focus on bringing in people and making sales, and that'll solve all my problems. And I should have focused more on the bottom line and the money going out. Food costs for me as a restaurant, but any business in your outgoing costs, having a good accountant and bookkeeper, somebody to help you look at the numbers like all the time is something that I didn't do enough in the beginning, and I wish I would have done that more. So that is advice I would give to anyone. But again, I feel like these are sometimes women tend to, unfortunately, not be as numbers orientated. And so I think that's something that we really should focus on more.
It's not only women, Emma, it's also
I know everybody
men
does
too.
it.
Because remember what I'm in the financial industry, although we don't do their taxes or do their bookkeeping, but we look at their financials because we have a lot of business owners who we're working with, thinking about the exit strategy and such.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised if you sat with me shadowing every day. So if you're shadowing, that people do not quite understand how to read their financial and how to make some meaning of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's
only the revenue does not cut it, right? Because money in your bank,
yeah,
paying
I
yourself.
looked at the bank account and I'm like, okay, the money's up and down, but like, where is it going? So yeah, learning being more involved in the financials from the beginning.
Great.
For men and women.
While we're talking about money, what's the value of money for you? Because some people say it's financial freedom, financial security, peace of mind, you name it. What's it for you?
Yeah, I love the term financial freedom. It really, and when I think of financial freedom, it means I can give 10% once a month to the nonprofit of our choice. And it means that I can help more people. I can provide healthcare for my team members that are full-time. I can offer more benefits the more revenue we make. And so that's really important to me. And it's just the freedom to do the right thing. And then, of course, the freedom to have fun and travel and do all of those things too.
Of course. So my dad is also an entrepreneur for many years, of course, trial and error. And one of the things he always tell me since a kid, he's 92-year-old, is that if money can solve it, it's not a problem. That's why you need to have it. I had fun with that when I was young, but when I started this profession 22 years ago, I totally see it.
Yeah.
But today, we need to travel to see a close family member, and only the most expensive air ticket is available. And you got to go. No chance.
Yeah.
Money, go, because you can always make it again.
Exactly. Yeah. Freedom and choice, being able to make that choice.
Absolutely. My last question. So I'm sad to ask the last question because we had such a great conversation. What is one piece of very good or very bad advice that you have ever received in your life?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Good advice definitely is never stop. Don't take no for an answer. And one of the sayings that I live by is think outside the box. A lot of times we face a situation or a challenge and we're like, this isn't going to work. And then as you're thinking about it and looking at it from different angles, a solution can present itself that you never imagined. An example of that is I worked with some of my landlords through a difficult time. And before that, it didn't even occur to me that could be a way to help our financial situation for the time that we needed, was to ask them. And again, pride, and want to ask them for help. And they were more than happy to like defer our rent for a short amount of time so that we could get through the situation and then pay them back. And we've been a really good tenant for a really long time. And so that was something that had not occurred to me until I thought about it. And I think I actually talked to a friend who was a commercial leasing agent. He might have recommended that too. Yeah. So it's just like thinking outside the box and not giving up. Again, I feel like some of these are trite and people say it all the time, but they're said for a reason and they're true.
Yes. Thank you so much, Emma. Today, we are very happy to have you. Tell us how we can find your salad bar in case they haven't heard about it. Can you, are you kidding? They must have heard about it.
Oh my goodness, I so appreciate it. Yeah, it's so interesting having been around since 2015, but just one location in North Portland until 2020. So a lot of people are still discovering us, which is great. I love it when they do. So we have the location in North Portland on North Williams. We're kitty corner from a great restaurant called Eam, which is like one of the restaurants of the years for the last few years. And then we're on Southeast Division and 20th. We have a location in Happy Valley near the New Seasons. We're in the same complex as the New Seasons. Moda Center at the club level during Blazer games. And then you can find us online. But if you Google Crisp Salads Portland, we come up because I pay that Google fee. And our website, you can order online, save time. You can choose any of the locations. We cater. So yeah, I would love to meet new folks and have anybody reach out to me. And all the emails for Crisp come to me. So.
Perfect. This is a good time to close. Women who care about the community, have pride to continue going, never give up, got beyond the million. She's looking forward to the 10 million.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Emma, and thank you for being our guest. Love it.
Thank you for having me. All right. Bye.
Bye.